The U.S. dairy industry is currently in the midst of a truly remarkable period of accelerated growth and unprecedented prosperity, a powerful phenomenon driven by a harmonious combination of two significant factors: robust domestic consumption and soaring international exports. Welcome viewers to my channel. Please subscribe, like my video, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next update. Domestic demand for a wide array of dairy product has surged to its highest levels in over 6 decades, a profound and undeniable testament to the enduring appeal and cultural significance of these products within the United States. Simultaneously, international exports are not merely growing. They are approaching and setting unprecedented records, a clear and compelling indicator of the ever-growing global appetite for high-quality American dairy. This powerful combination of a strong internal market and a rapidly expanding external one has created a pervasive wave of profound optimism, firmly establishing the U.S. dairy sector as a long-term growth industry with immense potential for continued expansion and market leadership. This is a far cry from its more modest past, suggesting a fundamental shift in its global standing. This positive momentum is not occurring in a vacuum, nor is it a random occurrence. It is being significantly amplified by strategic advantages and profound challenges faced by the United States' primary global competitors. The European Union, historically a dominant and formidable force in global dairy production and exports, has seen its expansion capabilities severely and systematically limited. This is a direct consequence of a new wave of stringent and ambitious environmental policies aimed at dramatically reducing greenhouse gas emissions across the continent. These new environmental regulations have directly impacted production capacity, acting as a structural brake on what was once a rapidly accelerating and seemingly unstoppable industry. Likewise, New Zealand, another dairy giant and a key competitor, has effectively reached an ecological and physical production ceiling. Its ability to expand its dairy herd and increase overall production is fundamentally and physically constrained by the amount of available land, a basic and immutable limitation that the U.S., with its vast and diverse agricultural landscape, simply does not face. While the EU and New Zealand currently hold the top 2 spots in global dairy exports, the U.S. is not content to remain in third place. It is firmly established as a strong third and is now aggressively and strategically expanding its market share, poised to challenge the long-standing leaders for global supremacy. This confident and deeply optimistic market outlook has inspired a truly historic and generational level of investment in the sector. An incredible $8 billion is being invested in new, highly advanced, and technologically sophisticated dairy processing assets across the country. These state-of-the-art facilities are strategically scheduled to become fully operational by 2026, creating a new, formidable wave of production capacity. This massive financial commitment is a clear and decisive vote of confidence in the future of American dairy and its inherent ability to meet both robust domestic and accelerating international demand. It is a long-term bet on the industry's sustained success. A substantial portion of this funding, specifically $4 billion, is being allocated to the construction of new, large-scale cheese plants and innovative whey facilities, a clear focus on high-value products. This monumental investment is already beginning to bear fruit, with the first of 3 large-scale cheese plants starting production in the fall of 2024. By the middle of 2025, these new and highly efficient facilities are expected to process an additional 20 million pounds of milk, creating a significant surplus of high-quality products. As a direct result, industry experts are not just hopeful, but are confident that exports will serve as a crucial and necessary outlet for this massive new production, with a specific and deliberate focus on premium, high-quality cheese and value-added dairy proteins. The future of this burgeoning export growth, however, is not without its potential risks, complexities, and uncertainties. The recent election of a new U.S. administration has brought several key and politically sensitive policy issues to the forefront, including tariffs, immigration, and deportation. Any sudden or significant policy changes on these fronts could have a profound and far-reaching impact on critical international trade relationships. Such changes would directly affect the future of U.S. dairy exports, a sector that has undergone a remarkable and fundamental transformation. Prior to the mid-1990s, the U.S. was a minor, almost insignificant player in the global export market. Today, exports are not just an afterthought, but are more vital than ever. With a remarkable 16% of all U.S. milk production, that's the equivalent of 1 in every 6 milk tankers, being processed into products specifically destined for global customers. This shift highlights a fundamental change in the industry's business model. Of all these diverse international markets, Mexico stands out as the most important, interconnected, and indispensable partner for the U.S. dairy industry. The country purchases a remarkable 1 in every 4 pounds of dairy products that the U.S. exports, making the U.S. Mexico trade relationship deeply consequential and strategically vital. Any political disputes or trade disruptions could have severe and immediate repercussions for the entire U.S. dairy sector. The relationship is a classic example of a mutually beneficial symbiosis. Mexico's domestic dairy industry is growing, but its consumer demand is growing at an even faster, more unsustainable pace. From 2011 to 2023, Mexican milk production grew by a respectable and consistent 1.8% annually, eventually reaching 29.4 billion pounds. While this represents a healthy and steady increase, it is completely dwarfed by the astonishing 20% growth in per capita dairy consumption during the same period. This has created a persistent and ever-growing domestic supply deficit, a gap that the U.S. is uniquely positioned to fill due to its geographic proximity, efficient supply chains, and massive production capacity. The Mexican dairy deficit, which ranges between 25% to 30% annually, is overwhelmingly and reliably covered by U.S. exports. American dairy products account for more than 80% of Mexico's total import needs, a level of market dominance that is unparalleled in any other major export market. These exports are not limited to a single product, but are a diverse and strategic mix of essential items, including milk powders, primarily non-fat dry milk, a wide variety of cheeses, and value-added whey proteins. The sheer scale and velocity of this trade are impressive and continue to grow year over year. In 2022, U.S. dairy exports to Mexico, measured on a milk solids basis, totaled 1.22 billion pounds. This figure surged to 1.38 billion pounds in 2023, representing a significant year-over-year increase. Non-fat dry milk and skim milk powder are the leading categories, with exports increasing from 793 million pounds in 2022 to a staggering 919 million pounds in 2023. In fact, Mexico purchased an incredible 51.5% of all U.S. non-fat dry milk and skim milk powder exports last year, a truly remarkable percentage. Cheese is another rapidly expanding and highly profitable segment, with exports to Mexico jumping from 272 million pounds in 2022 to 327 million pounds in 2023. Through October of the current year, U.S. cheese exports to Mexico have already reached a record-breaking 352 million pounds, representing a remarkable 37.4% of all U.S. cheese exports. This incredible and sustained growth can be directly attributed to the visionary success of free trade agreements. The North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, enacted in 1994, was a watershed moment that fundamentally changed the landscape of the dairy industry. By gradually and systematically eliminating tariffs, it paved the way for Mexico to become the U.S.'s first $1 billion dairy export market by 2011. NAFTA was later enhanced and replaced by the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA. In 2018, a modern and more comprehensive trade pact. This new agreement further solidified the trade relationship and helped U.S. dairy exports to Mexico exceed the impressive $2 billion mark by 2022. This makes the U.S. the largest and most reliable supplier of dairy products to Mexico, a relationship that has grown consistently, strategically, and dependably over time, benefiting the economies of both nations. While U.S. dairy export values to Mexico did decline slightly from $2.44 billion in 2022 to $2.32 billion in 2023, this was largely due to a broader, global drop in dairy product prices and not a reduction in the volume of goods traded. The long-term trend remains decisively positive and is a clear indicator of a robust and resilient market. By October 2024, Mexico's purchases had rebounded to represent an impressive 29% of all U.S. dairy product exports, according to comprehensive data from the USDA's Foreign Agricultural Service. The 10-year growth rate for dairy product purchases by Mexico is an astonishing 42%, a powerful testament to the depth and durability of this critical trade partnership.